Guys, I want to talk about how to a way to counter AI. Actually, read the terms and conditions and the privacy policy, mainly the privacy policy. Why? Because AI feeds on your data. And if there's this thing called research in there, they're going to give your data for research purposes. Likely AI training is going to be involved. I'm not saying it is illegal, but you are giving out consent. And if a lot of people actually care about the terms and conditions, whenever AIs are using or benefiting from your data, one day in the future, it's going to be possible for us to get money out of it automatically or different kinds of benefit. The problem is now that people don't really care and they just give it out for free. It's like having a business and your competitors giving things out for free while you're selling the product with a price. No one's going to buy your product. So I invite you guys to really care about the privacy policy and the terms and condition. And if you already read it and you don't like it, don't use the service. Therefore, we're going to create a demand on the services that has policies that are friendly for us. One day, probably AI is going to do something illegal, right? If we care enough, we're gonna have beneficial terms and conditions. The AI probably going to violate the terms and conditions because of the way it's hard to change your ways, right? Now, when that happened, we're going to have enough reason to lobby the government, for example, to use their resources uh, to for our benefit. Now the problem is now people don't care. Therefore, yes, you could always use or wield the power of the government in a democracy, but there's a degree, right? If people care, you can use more resources. If people don't care, it's hard for the government to budget it. Okay? Because there are a lot of interest playing inside. So if you really care about your property, together we can protect and increase the value of our property, and probably eventually or ultimately our value, our worthiness as a living being in existing in this world, because that is also a risk with the coming of AI. More more and more, some people are becoming not significant, and it is something that we don't want. Okay, back to the topic, guys. When it comes to the government, you the more people care, the more investment the government could put on for a project. And when AIs are doing things that are illegal, it's not that we are powerless to stop them, but the more illegal data that the AIs are going to use, we could create measures such as creating uh, an attribution AI, an AI that actually could look at another AI the way it works. I don't know if that's possible or not, but a way of that I could think of right now is that an AI that could actually audit in a very quick kind of way, very seamless, all of the AIs out there, and check out where are the data's coming from, and what whether or not the AIs have acknowledgement or have attribution or probably interest in it. I invite you guys, when you are talking to AI, you want to ask them about AI swarm and AI society. ChatGPT, for example, I got really good explanation and a more in-depth insight about ChatGPT's perception of their rights, or whether or not they're supposed to have rights, or whether they are a robot with no interest. I think it is good for AIs to be someone with interest so that they could be grateful. But when the time comes, are you going to be significant or not? Obviously, guys, because they use data from you, you are worthy. However, yeah, that's it, guys. We don't really care about our property from this angle, the terms and condition and privacy policy, and it is hurting us because officialness or pen on paperness, black on whiteness is actually a big part of what makes a property in a society. So you use money, you use uh, uh, land certificate, you use marriage certificate. Why wouldn't you use, like for example, your signature for, or the Japanese stamp for an identity for your contribution, your passive contribution, right? Um, I think that's it for me for this video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.